All right, we should be live now.
Well, I see us. Wow, my voice sounds really far away.
That's just how it sounds in real life. It's a weird audio quality about Lee. You just always
how my phone calls sound.
Yeah, no, just in general, you always sound like you're far away. No, it's sorry, I'm basing it off of a Daniel Thrasher meme. The first,
I know I didn't know I had ventriloquism as a skill.
well, so, the Daniel Thrasher meme, it's him like doing some voice acting for a guy or something, and he's like, "All right, we got it all," and it's like, "Can I hear it?" And it's like, "Oh, sure, you want to hear it? Sure." It's like, all right, just to warn you, a lot of people like they're not used to how their voice sounds. You know, they're used to hearing it in their body, not over things. So, you know, don't get weirded up. Okay, hits play. Watashi wa Daniel-san.
Oh, actually, I have seen that one. Yeah.
And the guy, he's over here, where's my voice? That is your voice. And it's like, no, that's clearly a Japanese girl. And it's like, that's just what you sound like.
What was that from?
Daniel Thrasher.
That's right.
From the twisted, bizarre mind of Daniel Thrasher.
Dude, Daniel Thrasher is insane.
I'd forgotten about that, but yeah, I remember now.
It's one of the funniest concepts of where he just takes the, oh yeah, your voice sounds different over a microphone to its logical conclusion.
Where you sound like a weeb?
No, like he literally sounds like a Japanese girl over.
It's like you sound different in your head than you do to other people.
Yes, but he took it to the extreme.
Just logical conclusion is that you become Japanese. I don't know.
I mean, I think I'm turning Japanese.
I don't really think so.
I really think so.
Do 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 do.
Of course, he took that to the extreme of it's not even the language you think you're speaking.
Yeah. No, Daniel Thrasher is insane where he takes things.
Oh God, what was the one when you lie for a song? Is that?
Yes, when you stretch the truth for a song.
That's what it's called. That one is absolutely nuts, and it's my favorite. That one and Igawalla.
Where I was going when you first talked about my voice sounding different was, in Skyrim, one of the shouts you learn is throwing your voice. It's honestly useless, but
it's just the wind.
Yeah.
I mean, your voice kind of is just wind.
I suppose. Unless you're underwater.
Well, then it's not really your voice now, is it?
Well, I mean, you can...
You're blowing my mind, man.
Underwater.
Poor unfortunate soul.
Yeah, but when you make it underwater, you're still pushing air out of your lungs to create the sound.
True. But then some of it transfers.
Well, anyway, it's 8:30, so let's get started.
Yeah, this conversation has degraded rapidly.
All right, here we go. So last week, or 2 weeks ago, actually, I had to end the stream early because I had to pick up my mom. There were 3 great developments, though, that came from it. One, I successfully picked up my mother. I got her to her destination, and it means you guys get a second Satisfactory episode. So, and patch 1.1 came out in the middle of it, so it's actually kind of serendipitous, don't you think? This is episode 6.
Gets a second episode.
She doesn't listen. This is episode 61 of I Think We Overleveled. I don't know what I'm looking at, but it looks all kinds of fancy. Because this person has just made an absolute stack.
Is that a nuclear facility or?
Looks like he was making iron.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my goodness, the more he zooms out, the more insane it gets.
Oh,
That's just the way things are
yep, that's the way this game goes.
in Albuquerque.
But yeah, no, 1.1, it's got some nice quality of life features. It really does. Being able to have a mode for 90-degree angles on the pipes, so you don't have to put pipe supports in, very specific locations, so you could turn it the way you want. It's nice.
Oh, they added that in?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So
Curved conveyor belts
I'll
are
admit,
nice.
I haven't played. I haven't played 1.1.
Here's the part where he
Oh.
has a Raycon.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're getting paid by Raycon.
No, we're not. Raycon, you want this money? You know how to get it. I'm real cheap.
Splice just likes them that much.
I don't know. You still turned down Raid Shadow Legends.
They didn't give me enough. Raid Shadow Legends has a higher bar to clear. If I'm selling my soul, I'm getting a good price.
Fair enough. Well, let's see. So they got the straight pipes, so that's nice for laying the pipes. They added the elevator, which is nice because either I did like spiral staircases or, well, once you get the hover, I often just want to just throw power vertically so I can just fly up to where I need to go.
When you say throw power vertically, what do you mean?
I mean, I build a wall, and I just put a bunch of cables with wall attachments, wall outlets going up and down the whole wall. And sometimes I'll just delete the wall and just leave the wires hanging and floating in space.
So for context, the reason he's saying this, the hover belt actually just connects directly to all of your power conduits.
Oh, okay.
And so you can just fly indefinitely when you're close to them. And so moving power vertically gives you a higher elevation that you can clear.
I did not realize it worked like that. That's pretty cool.
When the hover pack trips your fuse.
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
I didn't realize that it took enough energy to do that.
Well,
it takes 100 megawatts, so
it makes energy. So yeah,
I didn't realize that it actually. So that's the thing. I didn't realize that it actually took energy.
Oh yeah. It is just you, like, whether or not you're flying. If you just have it equipped and you walk into it, it's always consuming 100 megawatts.
Wait, are they building vertical? Like, are they stacking?
He's kind of showing off what 1.1 can do. So
I didn't. Yeah, I know nothing about what 1.1 added.
So
you've been watching the hype reels. Oh no.
So the other thing they added is if you have a vertical belt, you can now just put like a merger and splitter on the vertical belt.
Directly on the lift.
That's nice.
I mean, I've made all my design decisions that I couldn't do that, so I don't know if I'll actually use that. I guess I did do a couple of just trying to get to the awesome sync for, extra stuff to
Time to scrap
away.
the factory and start over?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that.
Just burn the whole thing down.
That's what I did.
I
Makes
put a lot
sense
of
to
work
me.
into it. I mean, I did that. I did make a new save file for 1.0, but for 1.1 that's just mainly quality of life, nah, I don't think so.
So what
They're
did you do,
also-
Gordon?
I started a new save because, I started on 1.0 and mistakes were made. And I don't want those mistakes to live with me forever, so I'm starting over.
Ah, okay. Yeah, as for me, I don't have any mistakes that I feel like getting rid of because that already was my start over and planned from scratch. Like when I started the 1.0 save file, I went way overboard in, I didn't build. If I got to a certain tier, I didn't start implementing it until I found the alternate recipes I wanted, and I knew exactly what alternate recipes I already wanted for everything because it was my second playthrough.
Yes, the alternate recipes are very, very nice.
What are alternate
especially
recipes?
for oil?
So in the game, there each different material that you're making, or not material, but object that you craft, has a certain recipe. You can get alternate recipes so that you can make the same craft using different materials, different amounts of it. Like, so some of them are more efficient. Some of them let you get to certain things earlier. Some of them, yeah, it's just.
Sometimes they're just like lateral moves where if you have a lot of a certain resource, that it lets you use that instead of, the standard.
Okay.
Yeah. But like cast iron screws, that's just such a great thing, because normally when you're making screws, you have to take iron ore to iron ingots to iron bars to iron screws. With this, you go straight from iron bars to iron, or from iron bars to iron screws.
And so that one is an example where there's, nothing but upside to it. And you're like, well, where's the trade-off? It's like,
right.
Because, most of them, you make some sort of trade-off. But there actually is a trade-off with that one, because there's an alternate iron bar recipe that's the steel bar recipe, where if instead of using iron to make a steel bar, to make an iron bar, if you use a steel ingot, you get like 4 iron bars instead of just 1. And so if you use that and then the basic screw recipe, you actually get far more than you get from cast iron screws. But
then by the time I have steel, I just want steel screw.
Don't you normally get 4 iron bars from an ingot?
Well, you get a whole lot more with.
Okay, so you get like 16 or something.
I'd have to look it up. It's easy enough to look.
I'm a steel screw guy myself, if I still need screws. One steel beam makes like 50 screws or something. That's great.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice one.
See, I never do that just because I hate making steel plants. And so.
No. 1 iron ingot's to 1 iron rod, whereas 1 steel ingot's 4 iron rods.
How many fortnights, though?
And then 1 iron rod makes 4 screws. So normally from 1 iron ingot, you'd get 4 screws.
Okay, that must be what it was that I was thinking.
But with 1 steel ingot, you can get 16.
Okay.
I feel like my Fortnite joke was pretty good.
This is where my brain starts shutting down.
I appreciated it.
Why does this be where your brain shuts down?
Oh, just because it's where my
when the spreadsheet's involved.
it's where my smart brain just starts getting tired, and my lizard brain starts saying, "Okay, what's new thing? Like what?"
Gotcha.
No, I will admit the elevator's pretty nice.
Okay, so tell me about the elevator. I don't know about that. I heard
is
about
that from the shop, or is that a tier thing? I haven't found one yet.
It's from the ma'am. I mean, not the ma'am, the awesome shop.
Awesome shop, okay.
And the way the elevator works is, you build it, and it basically has a little cage room that you walk in, and then you can just push the button, and it'll elevate you to where you want to go, like an elevator. But it's so much nicer than building a giant ramp with stairs, because I used to build like a giant ramp.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at the explanation of like an elevator.
Like an elevator, right?
Wait, he's trying out 1.1 while I was
Yes.
No, put the headset on. I want this kid's opinion now.
So, whereas before I make a giant staircase, and I'd often have like a center room that's just a big empty room, and then have one of the jelly landing pads below. So if I walk all the way up, I would just hop down and land in there. So it's like I kind of had a one-way elevator, but now I can elevate up and down, which is nice.
You mean the jelly landing pads? jellies?
Yeah.
That's what they're called.
And you should be in bed, little guy.
Uh-oh! Busted! In 4K!
You're streaming in 4K?
Oh, heavens no.
My oldest son did make a Satisfactory zip line for my Father's Day gift.
Nice. I do love the zip
Oh, yeah?
lines.
He's like, well, I see that's the only thing the only way you move around in the game. Like, I do other things, but it is what I spend most of my time usually.
Well, when the option is to zip line, why would you not?
Well, I mean, if you have hyper tubes, but I don't always have those up.
I just meant in real life.
Well, like in my new save file, I didn't even bother with the hypertubes just because I don't know. It's cool, but it's not the best necessarily. But they did improve it actually with 1.1.
Yeah, because they actually gave you branches and junctions. It's great.
Yeah. So there's part of me I'm like, oh, I would like to use that, but I already have portals up, so.
Oh, I
I'm
mean,
sorry. What is this giant monolith that he's got in the background?
What monolith?
It was just like this giant that right there on the left.
I have no idea.
Like I see that and I just hear people chanting Zool.
I don't know. I don't see anything. Is the gaslighting working?
Everything's normal here.
Yeah.
We're fine. How are you?
There's no war in Ba Sing Se. Anyway,
it's like weapons malfunction.
I don't know. It looks to be a corporate headquarters or something.
For what? Viridian Dynamics?
I mean,
National Bank?
For what I can
so.
tell, it's basically what it is. So, from all your guys' description of this game, anyway.
Okay, so that's one thing I do love about this game. I don't remember if we talked about it, but I love that and apparently they added this with 1.0 is just the sociopathic computer voice. It's like GLaDOS 2.0, and it's kind of wonderful.
Oh, no, Ada was there before. They just fleshed out a whole lot more lines with 1.0.
Okay.
I think they even added more in 1.1.
Oh, really? Well, I guess
like
to match with the stuff that they added, she has to have a commentary on it.
Yes, there's like when you buy the elevator designs, she's got commentary on that.
Mm-hmm. But it just they've done a really good job with her, especially her. There are some dialogues as you develop the SAM technology, and as you find the spheres. What are they called? The
Mercer spheres.
Mercer spheres.
Mercer spheres.
Okay,
Mercer
he's doing
spheres?
something right now. Yes, they are named after Matt
There's
Mercer.
so much water. Are
Yes,
they really named after Matt Mercer?
Yes, they are officially named after Matt Mercer.
I didn't think that was official. That was just what me and my brother were calling. Like, oh, it's a Matt Mercer over there.
That's amazing.
So if you notice, he's copying and pasting lines, to select it, but you notice it's printing the color as well. Now, if you middle click to select to build something, it will copy whatever the properties of something you.
Oh,
clicked
that's
on.
So nice.
It is so
Oh,
nice, but unfortunately, they still have the bug where, when the he's using clean pipes, but if you have the pipes with the flow indicator on it, the expansion rings, those still expand fix-it colors. I filed a bug. Then they said, oh, well, there's a few other people have filed that bug too. I'm like, oh, I couldn't find it. I'm sorry. But though someone did point out that you don't actually, because I thought you had to paint it a different color and then paint it back into the one color to get the fix-it colors of the expansion rings fixed. But someone pointed out in the bug that we filed that if you just hover over it with a different color, just hovering over it fixes it. That it'll revert to the proper color.
I love that pipes work like belts now. Like they connect the same way.
Well, how did they used to connect?
You used to have to. Well, they used to work like belts used to work actually. Where
I was about to say the way I was used to belts working.
Yeah, you have to lay out. You used to have to lay out the support beams in very specific places if you wanted them to turn at right angles. Otherwise, it starts looking like spaghetti.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
They just added it, making it easier to do 90-degree turns.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very
and
good.
the other thing that I love about 1.1, and I've used extensively a lot, is the nudge mode can now do vertical, and it's not
Nice.
limited. It's not limited to 8 meters either.
Oh, I haven't tried the vertical nudge.
So you could just I used to have to make giant stacks of like splitters and mergers to get
To get elevation.
to get the elevation I wanted, and now I can just page up, page down to get the elevation I want.
Okay, so I'm noticing these pipe junctions. He's rotating them vertically. Is that new or is that always there?
That's always been there.
Okay, I never did it. So
We're learning valuable lessons here today.
no, fluid, like working with pipes and fluids. That's another thing that made my brain go, okay, there's just too much, because you have to worry about flow.
It made me so happy. I was like, finally, I can use my mechanical engineering.
Well, like
Finally, a chance to use my degree.
And I'm just like, finally, I don't have a degree in mechanical engineering.
I actually did use the I don't know, last few hours I played were just trying to increase the efficiency of my aluminum plant,
Oh gosh,
because I wanted to get
aluminum
have it
killed
being
me.
made 2,400 ingots per minute, and to get it to be nice about well, the problem is the water backflow,
The excess water sucks.
Yeah, I just eventually, I'm just training. I just have trains bringing in tons of limestone, and I'm just
You just stick into wet concrete. Yeah, that's probably
what
the
I
easiest.
did. That's what I did, because I got so sick of trying to get the valves to line
Trying
up
to get the
properly.
priority junction or whatever to play nice. Yeah.
Oh,
The priority
aluminum
junction,
knocked me
yeah.
out of this game.
And like I before had just tried to make it as many pipes as possible, and used giant buffers to try and prioritize the overflow, and it just never. I got it to where it could like run at 90% efficiency, but I just could not get it to 100. I'm like, what, screw it. I'm not gonna mess with trying to feed water back into the pipe. I'm just gonna sink it.
I still think they should let you sink water, for crying out loud. I mean,
Yes.
we're polluting the planet as it is. Let us dump wastewater.
Yeah.
Embrace your Captain Pollution.
My gosh, just watching this guy fly around this thing, I'm just like, this really is a dystopian industrial hellscape.
I don't know. Mine seems nice.
Yours is built over the void.
Built over the void or high up in the sky.
He's literally paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
That's my approach.
Ooh, bop, bop, bop.
And like if I'm over nice scenery, I use the glass floors so you can see down.
Oh, that's nice.
Enjoy the greenery below you.
There's the nature that used to be here.
Nature that's not exploitable to me.
Well, I just
Yet.
don't want to waste it. If I'm gonna cut down any trees, you better darn well know I'm gonna burn it. But I don't want to waste any of it. Even though I have nuclear power plants, so what do I need? What do I need the solid biomass for? Especially considering
to announce your presence with authority.
well, that, and also, I kind of feel like there's only a limited amount of vegetation, but I guess there's infinite amount of enemies that can respawn.
See, and I'm
So
just
I have
like,
plenty of that, but
I'm just like, they can't get any sun. You've blocked out the sun like Mr. Burns.
that's why I use the glass floors.
Blocking the light into the shop.
Get out, get out.
Did not expect Dara O'Brien references today.
You've got me and Gordon in the same room. Why did
Yeah,
you
I
not
did.
put
I just
Darrell
didn't expect it. I didn't say it wasn't possible. Those are two different things.
That's like one of our go-tos.
I don't know if we've referenced him on the podcast yet.
Though his references are very viable for Satisfactory. Crouch, jump, crouch, jump, crouch, jump.
Which one of these buttons is not crouch?
Jump, crouch, and touch.
Because in this game, that's how you move around to get fast.
That's how you run.
Yeah, the power slide jump. It
Yeah.
really
I gotta
moved
tell you, like
along.
the one thing that really just like killed me when I started over was not having the Blade Runners. My gosh, I love the
Blade Runners are
movement boost.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I got those, I was just like, "Oh, this game's a lot more fun now."
It changes
Oh, yeah.
It
everything.
really does.
Well, it's like everything you get. Well, that was one thing that they changed with 1.1 that was the best. So neither of you played prior to 1.1, right?
I did not.
No, I didn't.
So you know how you have separate equipment slots, so you could have like the
Like
jetpack,
Head slot and back slot, that kind of thing.
Yeah, before there was only one slot, so
Oh man!
Wait.
So you have to choose whether you have a zip line or a gas mask.
yeah, you had to choose whether you had your what are they called again? The Blade Runners. Like you couldn't have the Blade Runners and the jetpack at the same time.
Boo!
It's blasphemy.
Boo! The Blade Runners and the jetpack are one of my favorite combinations.
Well, that was something they just said, like, yeah, we thought it might be broken, but then we eventually said, screw it, it's fun.
Well, it's like, what is it breaking?
A
Breaking
single
my
player
level of
game.
enjoyment.
Well, you haven't known any better. So
Wait,
they're doing one of the new features right there. With
I was going to
1.1.
say, blueprints for belts?
Well, I've done that before.
Like stretchable blueprints for belts like
They
that?
automatically connect. Is the
They automatically
feature.
connect now. Unfortunately, if you have like
Now I might actually use them.
splitters in a line, those do not automatically connect. You have to leave some belt sticking out for them to do that.
Okay.
So I was hoping, I'm like, oh, this will make my blueprints more usable, and they're not connecting to the. Okay, I gotta have belts sticking out.
But you can update them to have the belt sticking out, and then you can still.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So yeah, 1.1's mostly quality of life. So I don't really see a reason to start over for it. But
My video card is just screaming, thinking about running this many belts and moving parts and everything.
It's like, wait, what? Your video card just like collapses immediately. It just says, "No, we got to stop
computer-
him."
If I was running this video and I went to install the game, my computer would refuse. It would just say, "No, we're not doing this."
well, that's the funny thing about like my factory.
Over.
It's like if I'm just looking out at the scenery, looking out at nature, my card's kicking out like 120 FPS.
Uh-huh.
I turn over and look at my factory with all the belts running. The FPS immediately drops to like 45, and I hear the fans spin up on my video card, and my room starts getting hot, and
In the distance, sirens.
the fire alarm goes
Look
off.
at this. This looks like we're in
We're in
Apogee
the
Science.
or the Citadel in Half-Life 2, which I guess is the same company. So
like this is testing. Like I'm serious. Why is GLaDOS not telling me that I need to test?
Limits of machine and man.
I love the falling
The rush
animation every once in a while. Like ah. Jeez Louise. So
Yeah,
is this
so
the
how the
inside
vault
of
is
that
another thing.
building?
Well, now you know what the monolith is.
Oh gosh.
How'd they get in? I want to see what they did. I still don't know what it is, but I guess I know where it is. But do I know why it is?
Why is it, though?
Seriously,
Yes.
this building is brought to you by Ivo Shandor.
It really is. It
What's
really
the
is.
mineral that is in the beams?
Pure selenium.
Selenium, that's it.
And I'm honored that you know that I would know that.
Oh, of course you would know that.
I'd be disappointed if you didn't.
I would be too.
I don't think I even know what we're talking about here.
So
Ghostbusters.
in Ghostbusters, in the scene where they're in the police precinct. They're in the jail. They're going over what's in the building, and it's like 2 columns of pure selenium.
Man, I don't even remember that part.
It's when
It actually becomes
Carl
kind of a
Winslow
plot
shows
point
up.
It also kind of becomes a plot point in Afterlife
True.
because it's a selenium mine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, sorry to derail with Ghostbusters, but
yeah,
I'm
not
sorry.
a Ghostbusters aficionado.
We did not derail with Ghostbusters. We enhanced
how long
with
did you live with
Ghostbusters.
Splice and you didn't become a Ghostbusters aficionado?
One does not merely become an aficionado by exposure to someone.
That's exactly how one becomes an aficionado.
I know he's building so many belts, but I'm surprised he's sticking with Mark V and not Mark 6.
Maybe it's just maybe he's got a lot of the material for 5.
When does he get the laptop suit?
I'm sorry, what?
What?
I am now making Iron Man references because you guys are talking about marks and.
Oh. I immediately started thinking of the laptop gun, but that was a different.
Yeah, different.
There are 6 different.
Dark, huh?
There are 6 different tiers of belts, each one faster than the last, but they require different materials to make.
Well, he might not have enough 6 to plop down a bunch.
Let me tell you, is it Mark 2? Is it Mark 2 that uses the reinforced plates?
Yes.
That's the worst.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just
like,
never have enough of that stuff.
Once you get to Mark 3, it's like, okay, I can breathe again. But
well, Mark 4 is also a pain.
which one
The
is
butter?
that?
The
Is
butter.
that the bars? The butter. Oh, the concrete, right.
Yeah, the reinforced I-beams.
The reinforced butter.
Those are obnoxious.
Yes, they look like sticks of butter.
They do. Delicious, delicious concrete. Spread it on toast.
I mean, you can though, right?
But you shouldn't.
It's it's safe. It's safe.
The opinions expressed by Splice do not reflect the opinions of the entire team on the Splice stream.
It's gonna be fine, okay?
The Splice team?
I mean,
Too little butter spread on too much bread.
Okay, Bilbo.
wait
It's
a
my
minute.
line.
I was about to say, I thought you were Bilbo. What's going on?
I don't know what to do anymore. I'm out of touch with
I'm
reality
looking
now.
back to the kids, so I'm kind of, getting into the character.
All I know
What
is we got Pirate quoting, Bilbo Baggins, and we got
Baggins quoting Ghostbusters.
quoting Ghostbusters. I don't know what to make of anything. Cats and dogs are living together. That's hysteria.
Welcome to today's episode of Satisfactory Shuffle.
We do what we want.
Because we can.
Well played, sir.
I think this is a 7-layer bean dip of references.
The Splice stream burrito?
Anyway, I don't know about you guys, but that is a beautiful view out there.
Oh, I really do like the hexagon wall
Windows?
Oh yeah,
The beehive?
the full plane and the hexagon. That's where it's at. See, look, the vertical nudge does change everything. Like the constructor stuff was so. Oh, I haven't messed with making new blueprints with the vertical nudge, but man, that would change a lot.
Vertical Nudge is the name of my Vertical Horizon cover band.
And I haven't thought of Vertical Horizon in a very long
Neither have
time.
I.
Yeah, it's been a few years since I've heard that.
Actually,
Actually, I had one of their songs come on shuffle the other day.
I had
That's
their
also going to help expanding my nuclear power plants, actually, because I did make blueprints for all the pieces of the nuclear power plant. But vertical nudge, that'll solve so many problems.
This is like seriously game changing for factory building. Like,
So
you don't have to build an additional floor.
Yeah, vertical nudge I think is probably the biggest quality of life feature that they've added. Well, that and copy paste of like all the settings. Like if you say like, oh, I want to make this constructor, and you copy it with middle click, it'll already have that setting applied.
Oh, so good. So you don't have to
just usually
control C,
copy and
control V,
paste
control C, control.
after the fact. Yeah.
Right, but
Well,
that's
I mean,
a lot
I
of
do,
time.
middle click, right click, and then you have to go through manually each one. But now it's all the properties are just copied, including the color.
And I even like the color.
Keys
I'm
are in
try-
the ignition.
I'm trying to remember what that's a reference to.
I'm glad that you recognize it as a reference.
I mean, it'd be too random for it to not be.
I won't help you because I feel like you want to figure it out.
No,
Yeah.
help me.
Indiana Jones, man.
There you go.
Keys are in the ignition. What was that part?
I'm guessing when he stole a plane.
No.
What?
It was like the leader of the Republic of Hatay.
He gives him he trades all this stuff for the Rolls Royce.
Gives him, you shall have tanks and camels and
Yikes.
yeah, all that. Nazis bribed him with a Rolls Royce.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Not intentionally, but that's what he wanted.
They're like, oh, okay.
Oh man, it's been a while. I need to go back and watch it again.
Dude,
oh my goodness, this whole
anytime.
space is just full.
I'm telling you.
Wait,
Aperture science.
that shouldn't work. That shouldn't have let him put two constructors like that next to each other.
Says you.
Not with an attitude like that.
Yeah.
Wait, what is this that he's building? I don't recognize this one.
The particle
Hopes and
accelerator?
dreams.
Okay. I didn't get this far, remember?
Oh.
Yeah,
oh,
you
no.
did not.
Again, aluminum is what broke me.
Particle man. Particle man.
Like and subscribe.
Today's references are so all over the place.
Very elder millennial, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it other than amazing, but I might be biased in that regard. You know, what with the references being tailor-made to me.
Mhm.
But I like it that way.
This past week, someone pointing out an existence of a game that's in early access that's take Satisfactory and Minecraft and mix those two together.
What do you get?
It's called Foundry.
Ooh.
So, it's a 3D, Satisfactory Factorio-like game, but it's in a 3D voxel space like Minecraft where you can go dig in the ground and, it's kind of like if you were able to build all the buildings in Satisfactory in Minecraft.
I have to admit, I kind of made I kickstarted a game that's basically, it looks like a combination of Satisfactory and what's it called? And Harvest
Terraria?
Moon. No, Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley
Oh.
it's called Autonomica.
Never mind. Okay.
So many games.
But it's not out yet, and who knows if it's going to be any good, so don't stress about it just yet.
Well, no.
Stress.
Well, that's ultimately what I was hoping to make
trying to
something
make.
like. I was working on building up to that because that's kind of a tall order. But yes.
Well,
We'll see.
yeah, I'll
But
send
I
you a
guess-
link to the trailer.
I mean, no matter what you try to make, there's a good chance someone else is thinking of it too. So.
I mean, there's a good chance that other people like the games that you like.
Which, I mean, the good side is hopefully that means you could sell it to them.
Exactly. Now you're getting it.
But yeah, it's one of those, like, who knows if it's going to be any good. It looked fun, though.
How long was Satisfactory in early access?
5 years?
And that's the thing. Sometimes these development cycles are just like crazy.
Because like I missed the first Fixmas, I think, and I started playing it around 4 years ago. Because when I looked in the bugs filed when I was trying to figure out why I was getting a black screen and was using it, that was 4 years ago. So yeah, it's I feel like it had a 5-year cycle. It might even been longer than that actually, because I think there was already pipes by the time I started playing it, whereas when they first launched the early access, they didn't even have pipes.
And what's the difference between pipes and conveyor belts for the purposes of this game?
One carries fluid, one
Liquids.
carries.
Okay, I get
It's fluids. That's more accurate because you can carry gases.
Yeah, fluids
Really?
versus
There are
solids.
gases?
Yes.
What gases?
Nitrogen mostly. But there's also excited photonic matter.
That was my favorite way of generating energy was actually rocket fuel.
Oh yeah, rocket fuel. Yeah, rocket fuel's awesome. So yeah, nitrogen, rocket fuel, ionized fuel, excited photonic matter, and dark matter residue are the well.
I hate it when I
gases.
get that on my hands.
Though technically plasma is not a
Impossible
gas,
gas.
but they just treat it like a
They
gas.
treat it like a gas. Yeah.
So, you know, Splice has some experience doing that in real life.
Again, this
Some.
is one of
Creating
those
excited
situations where I'm just
photonic
like, I'm
matter.
playing a different game than everyone else. I like to hit blocks with my hammer.
Then I smash it with the hammer. Meanwhile, I am getting destroyed right now in FTL. It's an
I
issue.
haven't played in a minute.
It's been a recent obsession.
See, my
That
recent
game- That game makes me think of lunch breaks at work. That used to be what I would do.
yeah, my recent obsession is still Expedition 33. My gosh. That game is
Yeah.
a work of art.
I still haven't been able to find a physical copy anywhere. It is like out.
Give them some time. They'll definitely reprint that one.
All I know is
I didn't realize there were physical copies.
I
Yeah.
did go to a GameStop and they're like, oh, well, they're going to reprint some Steelbook editions, but you have to have, there was like a 1-day window to pre-order and they're all sold out. I'm like, oh, well,
What for?
we'll see. I don't know how much I trust GameStop employees, so we'll see.
What for? What do you mean?
Like
Been
what
to a
system?
GameStop in years.
Oh, for what system?
Yes.
Lee?
What, for like PS5 and Xbox One, I think?
Okay. I didn't know, so.
Or Xbox Series, whatever their dumb name is. Gosh.
Like, that's going to be one of those things, like, if someone kidnaps my family, they put a gun to their head, and it's going to be like, all right, to save their life, you have to say all of Microsoft's consoles in order. It's going to be like,
Gosh.
I'm going to be like, oh.
It's like, can I do PlayStations instead?
No.
Well, like, S and X came out at the same time, so
Be like, can I say goodbye first?
Yeah, just be like, I need to, this isn't going to go well.
well, that just reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where it's a spelling bee, and it's like, your word is weather. It's like, can you use that in a sentence? Sure. I don't know whether the weather will change in a minute. The guy's like, W H wrong.
That's just a jerk move.
Yeah.
No, there's no way. I would never be able to do it.
Well, now they're getting into the handhelds, I think I heard.
That's complicated by itself because they're
Well,
they're not developing it anymore.
well, didn't they have that whole
I have
marketing campaign
Asus
of
and whatever do it.
this is an Xbox and this is an Xbox and your
Yeah.
banana's an Xbox and your potato's an Xbox and
They can all run Skyrim.
you know
Anything
your
can run
paper and
Skyrim.
pencil's an Xbox. So you know they just claimed everything.
Like as far as
I thought it was a tie-dye.
yeah, yes, but no. As far as a strategy goes, I think it's interesting with them trying to be like the Netflix of gaming is their strategy. But whether or not it'll work, I don't know. And if that's their strategy, why did they keep building consoles? Is my next question. Like at this point, it's like, are you just building consoles so that Valve can't get like 20% of your proceeds or something? Like what's the deal there?
I could see that as their main reason.
Could be. I don't know. But like Microsoft at least has the advantage of you could get your Windows install base to get games through the Windows Store. Like Xbox is installed on all their machines. So
Yeah, but
no, I'm not arguing in case for like as this as a case for it. I'm just saying you would think they would try to utilize it more. I don't know. Anyway, we're a long ways off of Factorio.
well, yeah, and even the video had ended.
Yeah, it was only like a half-hour video or something. Now we're on 1.1 or 1.0. I swear I can do math. It's part of my degree.
Well, you
It's
know,
like a degree. What?
floating points in Splice don't work very well.
No, they don't.
Yeah, just integers only, please.
Please. At best. Most physics is only done with integers, right?
Famously, all of the constants.
Yeah, all of them. That was one of my favorite things about like hey guys, pro secret. If you want to get into rooms you shouldn't at in BYU science buildings, just try constants and see if they work.
Have you tried logarithms?
Yeah, I have. That's a good reference for the record. No, but
you tried rolling?
Oh man,
That's a good trick.
I should have tried that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't mischievous enough.
no, but like that was obviously this is like 15 years ago at this point since I last used them, so they've probably changed them since then.
I
But-
would hope so.
But like our old lab, it was a Euler's number to get into our homework lab. To get into the optics room, it was the speed of light. The
Well,
first
that
four
makes
digits of that, or was that one? That might have been the mass of an electron. I can't remember. But all of the codes were different constants, and because there's like, well, how much are we going to get the students to remember them? And it's like, you have a fair point. It made me wonder if like the other departments do similar things.
Well, I'm just still remembering when the homework was turned in by typing in the first digit of the answer.
Oh my goodness.
I can confirm that the chemistry department did not do that.
No,
No.
I think only the physics department did that. It was the only class I ever. I think 2 classes did it actually.
The physics department was weird because they jumped on being able to submit electrical or electronic homework a lot sooner than a lot of the other departments.
Oh
But
yeah.
It wasn't
Way
programmed by computer science majors. It was programmed by physics students who have computer experience, which makes them very dangerous, and how you end up with robot unicorn attack on the physics website, and it ends up breaking everything.
Yeah,
Open
good
your
times.
eyes.
Very dangerous people,
Oh,
physicists.
Eraser. My sisters loved that band back when I was a kid.
Just enough expertise to be very dangerous to themselves and others in many different fields.
Just enough to break things.
Yep.
You know enough to get into trouble, but not enough to get out of it.
No, that's like, oh crap. Okay, guys, we need to bring a specialist in. Our jack of all trades shtick isn't working here. Which is why we get along with the engineers and the computer scientists. We need them to help us dig ourselves out of holes we do put ourselves in sometimes.
Putting ourselves in
That's
holes.
also why they're not big fans of you.
They love us. Don't worry about it.
We should do some story time. Like one of the biggest jams that you've got yourselves into Satisfactory. I mean, for me, it was power outages are like one of the worst things that you can have happen to you. And my power outage happened to be related to nuclear supplies not being delivered correctly.
The second word after nuclear was going to be very important to what this type of disaster we're doing here.
It wasn't initially radioactive, but it became radioactive.
That's on your tombstone. It wasn't initially radioactive.
So it started off innocuously enough. I didn't have enough.
It's just a few alpha particles. What's it harming?
Beam going into, I think, one of the nuclear fuel products. I can't remember which one it was. Whether it was the fuel rod or the predecessor. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Basically, I was like, crap! I somehow mismanaged my supply of that. And while I was in the midst of doing that, somehow I ended up with a stack of uranium ore because I was like moving belts around, and I forgot that when you dismantle a belt, the contents of the belt go into your pocket.
Oh, that's right.
And so you had a pocket full of uranium.
So I had a pocket full of uranium ore. And I have a radiation suit, so like I see the radiation level go up, and I'm like, whatever, the suit will take care of it. But the filter, you have the iodine filter that like gradually gets eaten away, and it was just like draining. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, how bad is this? And then like, okay, I'm just gonna like run away from all the nuclear stuff. And
it sounds like you weren't initially radioactive either.
I was the problem, dear listener. I was the one who was intensely radioactive. My iodine filters expended, and I collapsed on the ground in a pile of green glowing goo.
Trees start dying, animals start falling, birds start falling out of the sky.
My death crate just sit there, containing intensely radioactive stuff. And it's not until like I go and look at my death crate and I realize, oh, that's what the problem is. There's your problem.
And of course your radiation suit's in your death crate at that point.
So I go and make more, and I had like
filters would be, but the radiation suit you'd be wearing.
The filters are what I ran out of. And so anyway, I had to make more filters, and like I had to make like 10 to make sure that I had enough to give me the time to dump it into my dumping site so I could get rid of it and restore power.
Filters are obnoxious to make too because they take cloth and the mycelium and
fortunately you can automate it once you get like synthetic fibers.
Polyester. Yep, synthetic fibers, so you can use
Plastic?
oil to make cloth.
Okay,
they use the polymer residue.
That's
Is
one
that
of the
another
alternate
alternate recipes? Yeah.
Actually, usually the polymer residue is a byproduct, but you can get an alt to make just the residue.
Oh, you use the residue. Okay.
Yeah, the blue.
Yeah, the blue polymer resin.
For the record, I just added it wasn't initially radioactive to my Twitch quote wall.
Good. It belongs there.
So, yeah, I mean, mine, there's since I like to build over the void, as Baggins points out, if I'm not paying attention to, the fluffy-tailed hogs that might spawn by the cliff, if I'm not paying attention and then suddenly I get rammed and launched off a cliff into an endless void, and then I'm well, I'm resetting.
Yeah, what happens to your death crate?
Yeah, if you fall off into the void, your death crate, I think, spawns in the death zone, so you can't go get it.
I thought it spawned on the.
Does it spawn on the cliffside? I don't know. I usually reset. Just load and autosave, but.
Disconnect.
I got my death.
I don't play Iron Man mode, like Splice likes to, but
I've done that a time or two when I got taken out by, is it the spitters or the?
I don't play
stingers?
Iron Man mode on something like this.
Oh no.
The stingers.
XCOM's one thing. Those are my soldiers' lives.
Every 5 minutes, and it keeps 3 autosave files rotated. Sometimes they come in handy because sometimes you just built something or deconstructed something. And you're like, no, that didn't work the way I wanted. I don't want to have to redo that. And so you load a previous save file. That is something I'm glad they fixed. I don't know if it was a Linux specific bug, but I couldn't load a save file while the game was already running. I had to quit and then start a new one. Yeah, it would crash.
Oof.
It might have just been a Proton issue that's since been fixed. I don't know if something they did or something Valve did. But
sounds like Linux was at best indirectly culpable, though.
Quite possibly.
Sounds like your computer was eaten by some Linux.
I did learn that your death crate can get stuck in the skybox if you jump onto the pod, which I did once when I...
Really?
I jumped onto the top. I'm curious, can I surf the pod when I turned in a milestone? And, it took me up and up and up. I'm like, oh, wow, this is what do I eventually, do I just, fall off? Or, no, you eventually hit, the skybox and they just decide, you're not supposed to be here. You're going to die now.
Yeah, it wasn't cool that they decided to have the skybox kill you in 1.0. That made me sad, actually.
But then the crate, it gets stuck up there. I'm like, crap.
Oh, does it? Because I used to write it all the time, actually. In pre 1.0, I'd write it up to the top, and then I'd put on a jetpack and jump off and fly to anywhere I wanted on the map. I used to do that all the time, actually.
I know.
Because I was curious, because it just flies up super high to where you can't see it, but it doesn't despawn. It just stays there, and it just sits there for the whole time, and then comes back. But then they added a death zone. If you get too high up, it kills you.
To be fair, when I hit the skybox in real life, I usually die too.
I mean, yeah, you can't breathe and whatnot, and you freeze to death.
If you die in the skybox, you die in real life.
Very true. Just like Canada.
But, and the other thing, I'm trying to think, I think you could still try I don't think it goes too high if you try and ride a drone. Have you tried that before?
The drones don't go nearly as high as the pod. So I've successfully ridden drones all the time. Although, often they take turns and throw you off anyway.
Yeah, a turn and you get launched. Yeah, that happens a lot. Well, they also made a change that makes it a lot easier to ride drones and the drop pod. Is that they made it such that fall damage does a max of 99 health. So if you're at full health, you'll survive a fall from anywhere. That was a nice change they added.
They changed that? Oh, I thought that used to be just a Chivo you could get. You fall in with one sliver of health left, and you get an achievement.
Yeah. There wasn't achievements pre 1.0. Or when did they add achievements? I feel like it was
in the past at some point. I'm confident.
I think it was 1.0 actually. I think. Yeah. Achievements came with 1.0. I don't know. I could look at my achievement history. It'd be pretty clear looking at the dates on there. But yeah, there was a point where you'd fall and you just die if you fell too far.
I thought that was... I don't know. I've died plenty of times, so I guess maybe I've had a little bit of health lost.
Yeah. If you've lost any health, then you die.
In real life?
Where's your scrape story? Or Worst experience.
The obnoxious one to me was when I was going out and trying to set up my first aluminum plant. It ended up also being my last aluminum plant. But it was.
You mean your half aluminum plant? Did you actually finish it?
I finished it. Thank you very much. It was.
Congrats.
It was complete.
You made scrap and ingots. I mean, that's good. That's good.
It was completely inefficient, and I had to feed in some stuff manually. But it was making aluminum. So no, it was the most cobbled together thing. But the frustrating thing is, as I was like heading out to get to it, there was one of those giant stingers camped out, and I just
the jumping ones.
Yep.
Is it the one?
It was in the red forest.
Oh, that red forest is mean.
Where like
nasty.
Like there's the cave where there's uranium in the cave, and if you go up, there's I don't know. Is it the one where if you kind of go over the giant cliff? It
was close to the middle of the map, and there's like it was the red forest, and
because the way I got to that was in my very first save file, like I got to that quartz area, and then I see bauxite's not far, but you have to climb over it. So I made giant ladders to go
Let me
way
just
up
put
in
it
the
this
sky.
way: quartz is what I was feeding it.
Yeah, well, there's that giant spider nest right next to the quartz. Was it the one by the quartz that killed you?
Again, there was no quartz. I was feeding it quartz manually. Or I was feeding it silica manually.
You brought silica in your pockets.
Listen to me.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out which spider nest was the one that killed you, because there's a few over there.
I don't remember. I know that from the grassy fields, I went north and up a really, really, really tall cliff, and there was a red forest at the top.
Yeah. Yep.
And there was like a little, like I built the thing on just a little river, my water plant on just a small little spot.
Yeah, that's where I built my first one. And but yeah, like I said, just south of that, down the cliff, is that quartz area, and right next to the quartz area where there's a summer sloop, there is the largest spider nest ever, where it's got like two giant spiders and like 30 small ones in that area.
Well, that giant spider was nasty.
There's two of them. There's two of them.
I remember the one, and it was just mean. Like I was trying to snipe it from the top of a power tower, and it's just suddenly there on top, and I'm just like, no.
Confused screaming.
So when I took it on, also I saw someone go there. That was before you played the game, when I was showing scary moments in games. In an earlier one, I showed someone taking on that spider nest, and I remember you reacted, nope.
Stingers definitely give you the scariest moments.
Well, in that one, like when I took it on, I put lookout towers, what are they called?
The sentry, not the sentry towers, but whatever they're called.
Oh, the towers. You get them pretty early.
Yeah, the early on, like lookout.
They're great for early builds.
I put a whole bunch of them in that area. I just kind of, built them from a distance, and I had nobelisks, and I just covered that area with explosives.
Nobelisks are they're basically radio detonated grenades.
They're TNT with a remote detonator. That's why they're called nobelisks, as in Alfred Nobel.
Okay.
I wondered about that. That makes sense.
I just got the connection. Wow.
So so I just carpet bombed it, and even with bombing them, the two big spiders were still alive, but it took care of a lot of the small ones. But yeah, that area, that nest was scary. That was a scary nest. I'm not surprised they killed you. They're mean.
Multiple times. Like there's
because I'm guessing you were hoofing it back to get the quartz.
Yep.
And
that you're carrying in your pockets, might I add.
No,
Oh.
what happened is I was laying a power line. And so it was like, because once I got a power line up and I had enough foundations, I could kill it and it wouldn't spawn. But I was laying a giant power conduit so that I could zip line back and forth. And
did it help you stand out from the crowd though?
So in my first,
we're not seeing eye to eye.
In that first playthrough, I actually made a hyper tube that went between that that quartz and that bauxite node.
Right.
But yeah, no, I know exactly what you went through.
The red forest is mean times.
No, that's the thing. They changed the red forest quite a bit with release 1.0, so I wondered, they probably added a whole lot more spiders there too.
Yeah, it's a nasty.
Do you know what'll really tie this place together? More spiders.
But a bunch of spiders.
Jeez Louise, all over the place with references. All right.
Like no nostalgia critic reference? Come on.
Yeah.
So this game actually made me spend quite a bit of money to buy a new power supply, actually.
Why did you need a power supply?
So me trying to play this game early on, I kept running into the issue where I'd play it and then my screen would go blank. Like I could still hear the game playing, but there was nothing displayed on my monitor. Like it just would completely go blank. And I went on to their their Satisfactory QA site to list issues and bugs, and I'm like, here's the problem I'm having. And I tried it on Linux, and I even booted into Windows, and I still have the same issue. And so the developers are like, well, okay, it's not a Linux issue or this, because if you're on two different operating systems you're running, this is probably hardware. And it's like, do you have enough of a power supply to supply power to your video card? And I'm like, well, it should, but maybe it's going out. I don't know. I'll buy a new one. And so I bought a whole new power supply. Tried buying a modular one for the first time because I had never done that before. But so I bought a new power supply, and I plug that in, get it running, and I go to say okay, now it'll run that I have a bigger, fancier, nicer, brand new power supply. And I start playing Satisfactory, and the screen cuts out again. Just black screen, can't play it. And,
well, now you know it's not that.
So I'm like, what's wrong? It's like my video card should be able to handle it. So what I eventually did was, I'm like, is my video card overheating? I'm like, I don't see it overheat, but I don't know. Some people have said that they don't see it overheat even though it is, because the screen blanks out. So I booted into Windows, and I ran Firmark, if you're familiar with that benchmark. Are you familiar with that one?
I am not.
It makes it taxes your video card by making a giant toroid donut shape of animal fur.
Oh, okay. I've used Prime 95, but that's really more for a CPU.
Yeah, and so I run Firmark, and my screen crashes, blanks out immediately. I'm like, okay.
Ooh.
So it is my video card overheating, but I'm like, it should be strong enough. So I ended up pulling out my video card, and I took it apart, and I cleaned off the thermal paste and put on fresh CPU thermal paste on it, and put it back together, plugged it in, and tried Firmark, and lo and behold, Firmark's now working.
Oh,
it's not crashing, and then Satisfactory worked from then on. So it was overheating due to poor thermal conductivity.
It was eating
Always
the
blame
paste.
thermal guys.
But I bought a whole new power supply trying to play Satisfactory.
So I guess everyone is having problems with their power grid when it comes to this game.
Man, The power grid at the very beginning of this game is just maddening.
Oh, when you have to bootstrap up from biomass burners?
Yes.
My gosh.
When you're starting off burning leaves.
Oh yeah. Once you can go from leaves and wood to at least biomass, and then when you get solid biomass, it's like on a restart, one of my first goals is to get solid biomass as fast as possible.
Solid biofuel is much better.
Yeah. It's like that's a top priority. And then once you get to that point, though the quality of life, it used to be so much worse because you guys were pampered where you could feed a line.
Back in my day, I had to play Satisfactory uphill both ways.
Oh, yeah. Oh, seriously. They played in easy mode. My goodness. Because you could just, make your solid biofuel and use a line with splitters to go into the different things. They didn't have inputs.
Oh, you couldn't automatically feed them?
No, you could not. You had to manually feed.
That's what I heard.
You had to be like Baggins with silica and aluminum factory.
What has it got in its pockets?
It's got
silica.
Pockets.
Lots and lots of silica.
I don't remember that part of The Hobbit.
Oh my goodness! It's
actually, I wasn't carrying it in my pocket. It was in the what is the little void pocket thing?
The internet.
Yes, where you upload it to.
His brother and I call it the internet.
The cloud.
Meanwhile,
storage for
what does Gordon have in his pocket? Cancer.
The interdimensional. Well, another thing that's frustrating is if you tame the lizard doggos and it randomly finds an item for you, but every now and then the random item it finds is uranium waste. Not
waste. Waste. Oh no!
So you can't even get rid of it. You're like, oh crap. Radioactive dog, bad dog.
You have to rub his nose into it just so he doesn't do it again.
What have you done?
Loonstar was carrying Nobelisks and Petrivka was carrying Chernobylisks.
Oh god.
Hey! The worst evolution of a Zerg.
Speaking of
For me, it was a Tuesday.
My brother-in-law and his son, I went on their server once and I see like, oh, they're processing uranium. They have nuclear power up and running, and I'm looking like, wait, no, they're not making uranium fuel rods. They don't have nuclear power. What do they do? I look, they're
Yellow
making
cake.
Nuclear Nobelisks. They're just making explosives.
Weaponizing it.
They're just weaponizing it. They're not harnessing it for power.
Went straight for the North Korean solution.
Okay, I've got a question. I don't know
let's blow crap up.
I don't know if any of y'all know the answer to this, because I know that like survival games, there are public servers for this game. Any idea what that is like?
I heard there are dedicated servers that people set up, but yeah, I have not.
Public ones? I don't know.
Not necessarily public, but yeah,
I don't know if they're public. Yeah,
like large group servers.
Now the only one I've used is my brother-in-law's, which is just kind of family only.
I've only just like ad hoc.
Oh, he kind of got frustrated that I wanted to play.
Keep going when he wasn't.
Well, no, it was the whole like, oh, you can just play on my server. I'm like, well, I kind of want to get to the next tech level on my personal save file on my personal game before I do it on yours. Like, I want to experiencing it in my single player save file before I experience it in a multiplayer. Because, well, I mean, that's me, you know. But
you like single player games?
Yeah. Surprise, right?
Anyway, Stingers acting all bad till people have nuclear Nobelisks.
I'm telling you, just like that was the way I ended up taking down the Stingers. I just carpet bombed that area.
Yeah. Oh,
talking off.
That's what I did for that area because
the problem is I tried to do that the first time and it didn't kill it, and it was just like, oh no, target is angry, target is angry.
Now, I wonder, I mean, I could probably deal with it. Once you have homing ammo, that helps a lot with those.
I didn't really like the homing ammo. I was turbo ammo all the way.
I still haven't automated turbo ammo.
Just
ammo.
DACA. That's all I was about.
I just had a regular rifle.
Quantity is a quality all its own.
I've been meaning to set up a munitions factory that has turbo ammo. I just haven't done it yet.
I've never actually automated the ammo. I've only just built it by hand.
I do think that the
Are you a Civil War era soldier?
I'm like Nick in The Last of Us, man.
I think that the rebar gun, though, is just an awesome concept.
Well, yeah, in 1.0 they added a lot to it, but I
that was new in
tried
1.0?
it.
So long to reload.
It takes so long, but again, you're firing a piece of rebar.
Well,
so many times
gun...
it's like, oh crap, reload.
Oh yeah.
Well, the rebar gun's been there for a long time, but with 1.0 they added not 1.0. With update 8, they added the explosive rebar and the shatter rebar.
Oh, which was
the stun rebar.
I really like the stun, actually. The stun is my favorite.
So what did so say those again?
They added shatter rebar, so that one's like a shotgun.
Yeah.
And
never
explosive,
used it, actually.
Yeah, I used explosive when I'm taking out the hives.
It's kind of like a rocket launcher at that point. And then
at a certain point, you're just mugging them.
And that one, you zap them and they get stunned for a little bit. Which usually people pull out the gun and shoot them while they're stunned.
Yeah, I was old school.
Or smack them with the Xenobash.
I smack him.
Yeah, the first time I got the Xenobash, I'm just like, ooh, I have a sword.
You idiot!
I mean,
we all got
swords, but it's still.
The Zapper is so bad.
I mean, it's basically what is it? A vibroblade from Star Wars.
Yeah, but what you start out with is just a little cattle prod.
The little cattle prod thing is awful.
Oh gosh, yes, the poker.
So you would touch it with a 30-foot cattle prod.
Yeah, or try to.
See, Splice just kept wanting me to go after the giraffe ticks.
Yes, and the only one you ended up shooting, I can't remember why, it did something impressive and we decided to spare it.
Oh, that's right.
What did it
Go
do?
to the water.
I feel like it phased through like rocks to get away from you or something.
It did something like it broke physics, and we're just like, I think he deserves to live.
Yeah, clearly God wants this one to live.
Like, I will break physics to get away.
You gotta respect. Game recognizes game, right? No, I kept trying to get him to do it in the early game, like attack it. When he's got like nothing, he wouldn't do it for some reason.
It'd be kind of nice if you got like protein out of it or something.
Yeah, you get nothing out of it. You just lose your trampoline.
You get nothing.
It's literally only Captain Planet villain points.
Yep, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Mental note.
Only the aggressive things are worth killing in this game.
Yep.
Oh, what type of hippy dippy nonsense is that?
Well, that's the funny thing, is that one of the biggest things on the entire map is just the most passive. I've heard that the
manta ray that just flies in a circle.
Yeah.
Well, no, I wasn't. I was talking about the elephant.
Oh, the space
or the giraffe ticks, whatever. What are they called?
Yeah. The confusing creature. If we go off of the
the nightmare
statue.
But no, I forgot about the manta ray. I heard that something happens if you get up right to its level, though.
I mean, I've
ridden it.
Okay, factories where they've flown through.
Okay, that must be what it was. Like I remember somebody was talking about different areas to build, and one of them was you like one of the cons for one area was like you get close to that level, and I was just like, oh, did something bad happen? But
I mean, it flies into right above my factory, and I could just hop on top of it and ride it.
Oh, so you actually will collide with it. I never tried that.
Well, I mean, should I tell you that one of the hidden achievements is to pet it?
Oh
Oh,
man,
you could pet it? Nice.
Yeah, you can ride it
didn't know.
and pet it.
you get close enough to do that. Interesting.
Hmm. I don't think I've ever pet a manta ray.
I don't think I've ever ridden one either. Well, unless it's the Satisfactory one.
I touched stingrays, but yeah.
I've ridden them in WoW.
Wow.
Wow. But yeah, so people are dying. What just with this game, what was the moment with you guys that you're just like, oh, and you realize that you're going to be addicted to this for a little bit?
The first time I saw it existed.
I meant in game. Like
I'd already played I've already played Factorio at this point.
yeah, but like where there's something that was super satisfying about it.
You mean Satisfactory?
Like yes, okay, you make a fair point. That was right there.
I mean, I think for me, it was the first time I was, building out, your initial iron parts and, the dang rods and screws and all that junk. And when I finally, figured out the ratios that I needed, the splitters, the belts, and everything to feed everything just the right amount, and I power it all up, I start it off, and it all just works. That's when I knew it.
Yeah, when you unlock stuff like overclocking and underclocking, it makes that feel like so you can actually tweak it up to.
You can dial right in
efficiency.
exactly, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that at first, so I was
Right.
I was going through all these pains of splitting things just so and remerging and
So I will admit with the under and overclocking, I didn't know you could type in the final desired amount.
Yeah.
At first.
you just kind of eyeball the slider.
I was just moving the slider around, but no, you could type it in. I'm like, oh, that's so nice.
Decimals, of course.
For me, it's when I actually figured out how foundations work.
Oh yeah, once you get the
Like
foundations.
realizing, because I didn't realize that foundations also helped you lock them in place. I thought that when you put items on foundations, it'd work the exact same as on bare ground. I thought that foundations were essentially decorative.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was the same way because at first I'm like, oh, foundations, why would I use that? It's just, but then it's like,
I
oh,
guess I want some artificial area.
But then you're like, oh, it's like, well, maybe I can do this to kind of make a level area. But then once you actually start putting stuff on it, I'm like, oh,
and it locks to a grid. Yeah.
It makes this lock to a grid. This makes this. I can get right angles in here really nice. This is okay.
Everything needs foundations now.
Everything needs foundations now, because now it's like once you've made stuff on foundations, you look back on the, your first base that was just built on your ground. You're like, oh, that looks so hideous now.
Yeah. Well, but before that, I was like, what the heck is the point of all this concrete? I have it coming out my ears, and now I can't stock enough of it because it's just foundation.
Yeah. For me, though, one thing that was huge for me that I like about Satisfactory over Factorio was the fact that the nodes don't deplete.
You don't have to uproot your base.
You don't have to, because like in Factorio, you get to the point where you're just constantly expanding, not to build anything new, but just to keep finding new resources to replace the ones that have run out. And it gets kind of boring after a while. You're like, oh, I'm just finding a new area to plop down to move the miners to. Yeah. And I have to expand out my train network. Whereas this one, you feel a lot more permanence to building. Like, okay, I'm going to build this area. It's based off of these resources, and so I'm going to be, this is my petroleum plant. This is this, and whereas in Factorio, you're basically like, oh, I'm building all these, satellites to just bring in its supplies until it runs out, and so you just kind of have one giant mega factory.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I kind of have one giant mega factory in this game.
You can totally do that too.
But there's that permanence, and also if you leave it running, this game just keeps running. Whereas like Factorio, you're like, oh, if I leave it running and I'm not paying attention, I'll run out of materials and everything will.
You'll get attacked by things, or
because it's like in Factorio, there's like dedicated servers where people have like public servers, but I'm like, how does that work? Because you run out of material. Whereas at least in this game, it's like, oh, I can leave it running and it'll keep running, and I don't have to worry about like, a dedicated server makes more sense for a game where you can not worry about materials running out.
Mm-hmm. Another one thing that I just found very satisfactory was finally figuring out what the heck the point of the awesome sink and the awesome shop were. Because
I didn't do that for way too long.
I didn't research it for the longest time. I was like, what? Oh, is this just purely aesthetic stuff? Not realizing that, oh no, there's sorts of
super useful stuff in there.
And,
oh my goodness!
I didn't figure it out until I was watching someone else play, and they just went ahead and built it. And they started looking through, and I was just like, "What am I missing out on right now?"
Wait, there's roofs.
There's roofs. There's walkways. There are vehicles.
Well, that
there's floor holes.
Well, I think my first time I played through, it's like I didn't understand like what do I need this MAM for? But yeah, both the MAM and the awesome
MAM was
shop.
the other thing. No, honestly, even beyond the MAM, the not the workbench, but the other one, the one where you make all of the weapons and tools and stuff.
The equipment workshop?
Yeah, the equipment workshop. I didn't realize that was a different thing from the workbench at first.
Yeah, that'd be a problem.
And so I'm just like, how the heck do I build these automatic miners that I keep hearing about?
Portable miner problem, I forgot.
But yeah, oh gosh.
And this is why the game truly is satisfactory.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm glad we were able to actually complete the topic and not just shortchange you on this game.
Yeah, though no guarantee that I brought up what I was thinking about last time.
Yeah, well, that's a problem for past you.
What we were talking about last time.
Anyway, all right, let's wrap this up. Pirate, do you want to promote anything?
No, just happy to be here.
All right. Bagginses.
I'm going to keep promoting Expedition 33, even though everybody's talking about it, because my gosh, that game is a masterpiece.
Yeah. It's definitely taking off.
It's what I wish modern Final Fantasy was.
If we get that might be a good one, although I'll have to start up the stream and then take off my headphones.
Oh,
yeah, that might be a good deep dive if we have enough people.
I think right now I'm the only one in the group who's played it.
I haven't played it because I can't find a copy of it, and even if I did, I don't know if I'd be finding.
I'm just slow.
Same.
It's worth putting at the top of your list.
All right, Looney.
Yeah, I'll promote Lizzie's stream, Lizzie Petrichor on Twitch. She does shiny hunting, and actually just before joining here, she finally got a shiny Burmy, which
what's that?
It's one of the annoying Pokemon that the only way you can get to it is to hit a shaking tree. That's the
I'm
only
sorry,
way you can
what?
find it.
A shaking tree.
You know, you see a tree shaking and you interact with it, and a Pokemon
I didn't know that was a
pops
thing
out.
in Pokemon.
Dude, that was like a thing in like really early Pokemon where you headbutt a tree.
The Game Boy ones.
I think that was in Gen 2.
Yeah, in the Game Boy ones in Gen 2, you could headbutt a tree and a Pokemon would pop out.
Red and Blue. Those are the only Pokemon games I played. So
Everything after that's Digimon.
Yep.
And so that one was just because it's just annoying to get them to finally get the shiny. I mean, you run into them because they're the most common thing to come out of a tree, but
still,
to find a shiny one is still a big accomplishment. So
man,
yeah.
Well, congrats to Lizzie then. All right, and then you guys can find me at twitch.tv and kick.com/splicestream, where we're fully back into the Amiibo swing of things. Pro Amiibo League is coming back. If that's something you're interested in, Amiibo Combat is a ton of fun. You should come check it out and watch digital dogfighting without any of the guilt, at least until the AI take over, and they're going to definitely either worship us or murder us, and there's no in between.
Well, guys, I think we have quite satisfactorily overleveled.
Hey.